Hey there, Jonathan Ploransky here, and popping on a little late, but wanted to come to you today with an awesome topic. And today's topic is how I'm getting 50% show-up rates on my masterclasses, right? And that might sound astronomical to some because the industry standard is between 15 and 20%. Some folks probably even had hit 5 or 10%, right? But in this demo, I want to give you a full scope of the exact roadmap that I take with even brand new clients to take them from a proven masterclass to a masterclass that will get 50% show-ups, increase their revenue so that they can scale aggressively and get better clients in the process, right? For those of you who don't know me, I'm Jonathan Ploransky. I own a company called Scaling Lean. I'm a growth operator, right? And there's 3 things that I focus on as a growth operator. That's paid media, so media buying, copywriting and offer creation, and systems and data, right? Because I believe those 3 things are what you need in order to scale effectively with meta ads in particular, or any advertising, but my specialty is meta ads, right? So if you're a service provider, business owner, coach, info product owner sitting on this live right now, and you're struggling to get your ads to work, definitely hit me up, drop questions below, reach out to me. I'm in the DMs on Facebook. You can go to scaling-lean.com. You can apply for a growth operator session where we'll dive deep into your number, identify your biggest constraint, and ultimately decide if it would be a fit to be a partner, right? And I like forming long-term relationships. I don't believe in just agency retainers. So I attach myself as a rev share partner, right? So I do revenue share models in order to not only create win-win situations, but long-term growth models, right? Enough of that. Let's hop into the meat and potatoes today, which is going to be the 7-day window campaign that I use for masterclasses to go from free to paid and boost show-up rates and income and quality of lead to 50% with brand new and existing people that are already running masterclasses, right? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to share a bit of a diagram. I like using diagrams because I feel it's easy to demonstrate and for people to understand and comprehend. I get great feedback from them. Let me get into it here. All right, so let's see. I'm going to switch over to Miro. Perfect. Should be seeing this. This is a free software that I use called Miro.com. You can get a paid plan, but I just use the free one and I just have different boards built out, right? And what you see here is what I use for webinars, masterclasses, and workshop to go from completely no masterclass to a class where you're spending $5,000 to $10,000 or more a month, and it's printing at a 3 to 4x on returns on cash every 30 days or more, right? I have folks that are doing masterclasses once a month. I have folks that are doing them twice a month. I haven't really increased the cadence past that to be fully transparent, but I'm sure this model would hold up no matter how many people or how much money that you want to spend. So with that being said, as you can see here, there's 3 different stages in this model, right? And the reason there's 3 different stages is I like to do everything in a validation concept, right? So I don't like to jump in and spend tens of thousands of dollars on ads until I validate a process works. So as you can see here in stage 1, this is for someone that's either running an organic masterclass, is launching a masterclass with a proven idea or concept or offer, or maybe they've had success with a masterclass in the past and then they moved on to a different offer and they're wondering why that offer doesn't work. This is exactly where I love to start with pretty much all clients, to be honest with you, no matter what the budget is, no matter what their offer is, because it just allows me to validate their offer, their message, their ideal client avatar in a 7 to 14 day attribution window, right? And for those of you who don't know what attribution windows are, is the whole name of this entire game online is we're trying to spend as much money as we physically can in order to generate leads into our CRM and then turn them into paying clients of $2,000 or more in a 30-day or less attribution window. So you put $10,000 in the machine and you turn it to 20, 30, 50, or even $100,000 on the back end, right? Because that allows us to scale aggressively and create the business and impact that we truly are out to do, right? Allows us to hire more team members, more people to fulfill our offers, and things become easier. When you step outside of the 7 to 30-day attribution window, it doesn't mean your business won't work. It's just going to be far more difficult to scale because you're going to have to spend more money in order to put more money back into the business, right? Just to give you that 30,000 foot view, that's what we like to do. And that's why I show you here that it's a 7-day promo, because I can get feedback very effectively and I can iterate very effectively to then go into the next stage, whether that's jumping up to stage 2 or 3 or consolidating and figure out what little pieces of the offer or message that we need to tweak, or part of the funnel process, maybe it's the sales process or the fulfillment process that we need to shift or change in order to make the whole system work, right? And then once we take someone through this whole process, then we have a scalable offer, and we literally just pull the offer and masterclass off the shelf once a month, twice a month, every week, and we just run the play again, over and over again, and it just becomes super successful and super predictable, right? And that's what we're all here for, is to build a business that doesn't require you to be in chaos. It requires you to have a predictable lead flow, so you get to do more of the things you love, impact the world, and grow your business to enterprise value, right? So with that being said, stage 1 here is a 7-day promo, and our entire target around this, I put 3, like our 3 high ticket buyers is our really like our North Star goal, but even 1 or 2, I find to be very effective, because what I do in this process is I only start off with $1,000 budget, right? So it's not going to break the bank. It's not going to harm the business too much if we fall short and we only capture 1 new lead or 1 new client, I should say, because we're optimizing for businesses that have products and services of $2,000 or more, right? So in theory, we spend $1,000 and we make 2 back at least, right? Or 3 or 4 or 5, right? If, for instance, we don't hit that North Star goal and say we don't land that initial client, it's not the end of the world, right? The business isn't going to crumble. We can go back, we can refine, we can figure out the pieces that didn't work, and we go back at it again with another $1,000 spend until we ultimately land that ideal client and complete this entire process, right? So we're going to go through a 7-day promotion with ads and emails and text messages, and then once the event happens, we're going to do a three-day replay campaign to get people to book on the back end of it, right? And I've had folks completely crush these replay campaigns because oftentimes people can't make the live, or they want to watch the live again because they had to check out early, or man, anything can happen in this distraction economy that we're in, right? So once we optimize this entire machine and we're able to take $1,000 and to turn it into 2, 3, 5, 6, or even 10, right? Pip Reed, one of my best clients in the perimenopause space, she just spent $1,000 and made $10,000 back, right? Which is absolutely phenomenal. That allows us to have leverage and put money back in the business, and now we can spend $2,000 or $3,000 and take on, even if it was just $10,000 more, right? We would still be way net positive on the process, right? Generally speaking, in this stage 1, our KPI goals are to not only spend $1,000, but in that $1,000, we want to get lead costs between, I've seen as low as $5, but I'm going to say $10 to $20, right? Because what that allows us to do is generate, on average, or what we like to see is 100 leads minimum, right? Sometimes we get 150, sometimes we get 80, but we shoot for 100. And the reason why we shoot for 100 is because when we get 100 leads, our KPI goal for the people to show up on a free masterclass is 20%, right? So we get 100 leads in at $10, we'll say, and our goal is to get at least 20 of those 100 people to show up for the event, right? And we're going to do that by texting them and emailing them and making them aware through Google Calendar reminders and Zoom reminders in order to get them on the event, right? So then once those 20 people show up to the event, then our next KPI goal is to get 20% of those people to book phone calls, right? And if you take 20 people that show up, and 20% of 20 is 4 people, right? So in theory, you get 100 people to sign up, 20 of those people book calls, and 4 of those people, or 20 of those people show up, 4 of those people book calls. On average, my founder-led companies, or even if they have a sales team, they're closing deals at least a 20 to 25% close rate. So that's where that 1 to 2 clients minimum comes into the equation, right? Because if you're getting 4 people on sales calls, at least 1 of those should close. And again, I've had founder-led owners get 8 or 10 sales calls and close 5 of them at a price point, and then that's where that $10,000 revenue comes in, right? Cash revenue, right? Those are the KPIs and the exact process that we like to execute and see inside of stage 1, and we're going to work towards optimizing around that until we hit all of those goals, right? And oftentimes we find little pieces of the process that need to be tweaked or adjusted in order to hit those KPIs, but we don't rebuild offers. We don't completely start from scratch in most cases. We just find little pieces inside inside of it that are broken or can be optimized, and then we fix them. And then that allows us to absolutely crush it. So then once we hit those KPIs, and the way I boost 20% show up to 50% show up, and also get far better clients on the masterclass, webinar, or workshop, whatever you want to call it, I then move to stage 2. Right? And in stage 2, we turn the workshop, masterclass, or webinar to paid, right? And generally speaking, I like to make the barrier of entry as low as possible, right? So let's just say $5, $7, $8, $10, $15, something super low that makes it so easy to say yes to, right? Because we are looking for volume, right? Even though we are charging, we still don't want to put the barrier at, let's just say 49 or 90, because it's going to make generally the volume decrease. And I like to see momentum and flow, especially when we're launching initially in that process, right? So again, we're looking to turn our free proven offer, completely proven, the ads are proven, our deck is proven, our sales process, our offer, everything is proven, into a $5 webinar, masterclass, or workshop. Right? And now the KPIs are obviously going to change because people are now buying, right? So generally speaking, I get signups, paid signups between $20 and $50, right? That's the low side and the high side. I haven't seen less than 20 yet. So we're still at the higher end of a free lead, but what we're getting is actually someone that took out their credit card and paid for the actual workshop. Right? So this drastically increases the quality of person, and they're more invested to show up, right? So generally when we move to this paid model, I generally go for at least $3,000 to $4,000 in spend, and generally the owner is super willing to do that because I just proved to them with $1,000 that we can make $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, or even $10,000 back, right? So then they're willing to move to a paid and more quality webinar by charging for it and giving me more ad spend, right? So we shoot for around 150 or 200 signups, right? And then 40 to, I set it at, but I'm seeing 40 and even people show up for this paid version because again, they're more invested. They whipped out their credit card and it's something they want to see and do, right? And then they're inside this process in 7 days. So if we're having the master class or workshop on, let's just say a Sunday, they're opting on the Sunday before or Monday. It's not like they have to wait around very long. Like they put it on their calendar, they see the event coming up, they bought it, and they're ready to show up, right? So it's the same emails, the same text messages, everything is exactly the same. We just charge a low barrier of entry, and then we still have the 20 book into close. I've seen this number for closing go upwards of 50% with founder-led closing, meaning the founder is closing the deal. And the other thing with this, which is so exciting, is the quality of the lead that shows up to that phone call. The sales call then becomes like a seal a deal call, right? Because we generally tell them the offer, the price of the offer, and everything before they even show up. So we're just pretty much showing up for a 15-minute call. We're taking maybe 1-2 questions, we're closing the deal, and then we're onboarding them, right? So it becomes very streamlined, where when we do these free launches, there often is a little bit more, there's less buy-in, right? Because they haven't given the credit card or they haven't bought into anything. So the entire frame of the entire process is I'm coming in free and now you're trying to twist my arm and make me pay for something, right? When we charge for something up front, the frame completely changes because they've already paid and invested in themselves, right? So when we ask them for more money and a bigger ask of investing in yourself, personally, right, to overcome the transformation, they're more willing to go ahead with that, right? And then we still do the event reminders and the replays and all of this. But generally speaking, we do offer the replay for the $5 as well, right? And then what we do with the replay is we run everyone to a calendar, right? So then the people that didn't book initially through this paid process, we also offer them that for free, or for paid rather. We offer them that, which helps us capture a little revenue. And then that also gets more buy-in for the people that show up to the sales call, right? And I do want to make something super clear here. The point of this, when we make this paid, is not to break even, right? It's not to make a VIP upsell and this self-liquidating masterclass. The whole goal is to make the barrier very low, but to make it so we're telling Facebook that we want purchasers that are high quality coming to our event, right? So generally speaking, when we still spend that $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $10,000 on the front end to acquire the leads, we're still only making, let's just say 15 or 20% back, right? So we're not making a ton of money back with the purchase of the event. The whole goal is just to increase the quality of the event, right? So with that being said, I just ran you through the entire process and how I take someone from a brand new masterclass or a person that had masterclass success organically or maybe in the past and they pivoted into something new to a paid masterclass with show up rates upwards of 40, 50, even 65% with easier sales processes and replays and more impactful business, in my opinion. If you have any questions about this, just drop it below the video. I'll be happy to, again, schedule a growth session with you. We can hop into your numbers. We can identify what your biggest constraint is inside of your business, whether that's data, ads, systems, copywriting, message, offer. Everyone has a little bit of a different situation going on. I'm happy to take those calls and offer my perspective. I worked with over 300 business owners over the past 3 years, business owners that are running businesses upwards of $10 million a year, right? Info products, wealth, crypto, virtually every niche that you can think of. And again, I'm willing to help you, just give you perspective at the very minimum. And if it is a fit, maybe we could be growth partners together, and we can build something amazing together, right? So with that being said, Jonathan Ploransky tuning out. I'll be back next week, same time, live here in the community. If you're catching on YouTube, drop me a like, a follow, and chat soon.